To continuously grow, we need to give the right people access to the right features or resources at the right time. AWS recommends using multiple accounts in an AWS organization to isolate applications, data, and business processes across environments. AWS organization helps to centrally manage and govern the environment. Today in this video, we are going to discuss the design principles and best practices for configuring your AWS accounts into separate organizational units for various use cases and workloads. This video will help you to better architect your workloads and accounts across organizational units. So watch till the end. Hi, I am Vibhor Gupta, an AWS and Microsoft Azure certified cloud professional. I am a passionate cloud solutions architect and services advisor. Let's get started. Just to do a quick recap of our AWS organizations, we have a management account, two top level organizational units A and B. Within organizational unit A, we have two member accounts and a child organizational unit with two additional member accounts. In top level organization unit B, we have two child OUs with their respective accounts. All these accounts have their own set of access policy and operational management with the help of service control policies. Some of the benefits of using AWS organizations that we have already discussed in our last video are: it helps to isolate workloads based on use case or business units in different accounts. It also helps in governance, operations, following compliance and standard security measures across AWS environments. To know more about benefits and how to configure AWS organizations, you can watch my video on AWS Organization 101. The link is there on the top right corner of your screen. Some of the design principles for your AWS organizations are: organize account within organizational unit based on function, common sets of control or compliance requirements. Always apply security guardrails, for example SCPs, at organizational unit level and not at the account level as it is more efficient. Even though AWS supports a depth of 5 level, but don't complicate your organization structure that it becomes difficult to manage. Always try to start small with the minimum number of OUs and then expand based on the needs. Since management account has all the privileges and SCPs can't restrict them, so limit configuring resources in your management account. Create separate environments or OUs to isolate your production and non-production workloads such as development and testing. Configure separate production accounts for different owners to simplify access management, change approval processes, and limit scope of misconfigurations. Avoid the need to manage individual IAM users in each account. Instead, use Identity Federation either via AWS Single Sign-On or via any third-party identity provider. Automate wherever possible to scale easily and rapidly and reliably provision environments based on your standard configurations. As per the AWS white paper on organizing your AWS environment using multiple accounts, top level organizational units are security, infrastructure, workloads, and deployment. Securing your workload on the cloud is very important. So it is recommended to have a separate top level organization unit for managing security related child OUs and associated accounts. Some of the accounts created in security OU are log archive to log data gathered from all the accounts in the organization and primarily related to operations, audit and compliance, security read-only access, security tooling, and so on. Infrastructure OU, its child OUs and associated accounts are managed by the infrastructure team of your organization. This OU is mainly used for VPCs and networking resources such as VPN connections, Direct Connect, Transit Gateway, DNS services, VPC endpoint, shared VPCs, and subnets. The workloads OU is intended to host your business specific things, including production and non production environments like applications, cloud resources, and data. It can be commercial off the shelf application or your own internally developed custom application and data services. The deployment OU is used to build, validate, promote, and release changes to the workloads. AWS recommends to have a separate deployment OU to manage your CI/CD account. They are used for production and non-production workloads, and secondly, due to the nature of the job, the policies and operational practices could be differentiated at the top level. Before moving to the design principles, we are going to discuss about the type of workloads and their associated accounts. In first scenario, we have two child OUs as prod and non-prod within workloads top level OU. Prod OU contains productions accounts and workloads, and non-prod OU contains both development and testing accounts and their workload. Let's assume that our non-production accounts and workloads require same set of access policies or can be operationally managed together. So we can create a one non-production OU and add workloads for development and testing. Before proceeding further, if you like the content of this video, please like the video and press the subscribe button and enable all notifications, as it will notify you whenever I am adding new content on this channel. In the second scenario, let's assume that we need freedom for our developers to experiment, iterate, and develop workloads. So in this case, the access policies for our development and testing accounts will be separate. So we are going to configure different OUs for their respective workloads. So in this example, we have three child OUs within workloads top OU as prod, test, and dev. All of these OUs have their respective workloads and accounts with different sets of access policies and operational management. In the third and the last scenario, let's assume we have to separate OUs based on the security and operational policy requirements for workloads or a group of related workloads, let's say database or web app. For example, we could have a separate child OU for all the services. Now let's move on to the design principles for your AWS organization. In the very first scenario, we are going to discuss about a starter environment with a primary focus on deploying workloads into production environment. A very simple use case for this type of architecture is that we are deploying static website that distributes content via CloudFront and backed by a private S3 bucket. In this type of setup or architecture, we have two top level OUs as security and workload. Let's assume we are using AWS single sign-on via the management account for human users with federated access to the AWS accounts and workload. The security OU has one account as Log Archive product for security audit and compliance with the help of CloudTrail and AWS config. The second account is used for security tooling prod to manage recommended tools and services such as Amazon GuardDuty and AWS Security Hub. All these accounts are deployed in prod child OU within security top level OU as we expect production level quality. Going forward, we can have non-prod OUs for development and test environments within security OU to develop and test changes before pushing them into production. Within workloads top OU, we have child OUs for production and testing with their respective workloads and accounts. In the second design, we are going to use AWS Control Tower. It provides the easiest way to set up and govern a secure multi-account AWS environment. With AWS Control Tower, new accounts can be provisioned in a few clicks. Another advantage is that it automatically creates the audit and log archive accounts under core OU. So we just have to create security tooling prod account within security OU. AWS Control Tower only supports a single level of OU hierarchy, so we have created a security prod OU and separated our workloads OU into workloads prod and workloads test OU. This is the only example of AWS Control Tower. The same concept can be used in further designs. Now let's move on to a little complex architecture. Along with the previous setup, that is a management account with single sign-on, security OU with log and tooling accounts, workloads OU with production and testing child OUs along with their respective accounts and workload. This example incorporates a development child OU within workloads OU and a sandbox OU to allow your users to freely explore and experiment with AWS services and other tools. The benefit of using sandbox is that they are disconnected from the internal networks and the services. As Sandbox OU can contain accounts for individual users, multiple accounts per users, or accounts per team. The next architecture that we have also contains an infrastructure OU along with the current setup. Infrastructure OU has a network prod account to connect VPC's resources such as AWS Transit Gateway, AWS Site-to-Site VPN, or AWS Direct Connect, and another account as shared infra prod for shared infrastructure services such as Route 53 resolver endpoints. In the next scenario, we are going to make it slightly more complex by adding CI/CD pipeline and resources to validate changes and automate deployments to the test and production workload environments. In this case, we are going to add a deployment OU with a child prod OU and set of CI/CD prod accounts. This is the end of the video. In this video, we have discussed the design principles and best practices for configuring your AWS accounts into separate organizational units for various use cases and workloads. This video will help you better architect your workloads and accounts across organizational units. Thank you for watching my video.